Hello students, today we are going to discuss the most vital part of the cell, which is called the brain of the cell, that is nucleus, and along with it the chromosomes. So let us discuss the structure and about various features of nucleus and chromosome. So nucleus is called the brain of the cell, and it was first discovered by Robert Brown. Now it is present in all cells, whether it is roughly in all cells. In prokaryote, it is not well developed. It forms nucleoid without any nuclear membrane, nucleolus and nucleoplasm. But in eukaryote, we know it is well developed with nuclear membrane and all. Now, but certain cells are there, like mature RBC. Clear? The sieve cells of the plant in the phloem. These are the enucleated cells. That means at the maturity, they lost their nucleus. There are certain cells which are binucleate. Pacium, we find two nuclei. Clear, one is the macronucleus and one is the micronucleus. Clear, so there may be binucleate cells also, where this macronucleus is for the growth and micronucleus is for the reproduction. And there are various cells that are multinucleate cells. Clear? There are various multinucleate cells where single cell contains lots of nuclei, like that in the fungi like Phycomycetes, then skeletal muscles. So these multinucleate cells can be of two. These can be sphenocytic cells, which are the term used for the plants, where we find in Phycomycetes like Rhizopus and all. In plants, there is the multinucleate cells, and it is syncytial cells for the animals, like that in the skeletal muscle. Clear, the epidermal cells of certain non-chordates. So these are the cells where these multinucleate cells, they may be sphenocytic for plant cells. Clear, the term used for Rhizopus and all groups of Phycomycetes and all. And it is syncytial, which is used for the animal cells like muscle cells, the epidermal cells of certain non-chordates, etc. There we find these multinucleate cells. Next is the location of the cells. You can find in animal cells it is more or less centrally located, but in plant cell it is shifted, clear, to one end. Clear, so that is location. And we will discuss the structure of a nucleus, typical nucleus. If you see in the structure of a typical nucleus, what we are going to see, you will see that the nucleus is a double membrane bound. Here there are outer membrane and inner membrane, and in between these two membrane, clear, these two membrane, there is the perinuclear space. So outer membrane is there, inner membrane is there, and in between these two membrane, this space is called perinuclear space. Now another thing, you see that nuclear membrane is not continuous. It is interrupted by various nuclear pore. Clear, this nuclear pore is surrounded by a structure called annuli, and this nuclear pore are the region where from the nucleus remains connected with the cytoplasm. So it is not a continuous one, it is interrupted by various pores. Clear? So various types of pores are there. You can see here there are various types of pores in the nucleus, and these pores helps in connecting it with the external cytoplasm. Inside the, and sometimes we will find that certain nucleus membrane is continuous with some cisternae of the endoplasmic reticulum. We know that endoplasmic reticulum more or less connect the nucleus with the outer cell membrane. So it is often we will find that nucleus, there is connection with the this endoplasmic reticulum, cisternae of the endoplasmic reticulum are connected with the nucleus, and sometimes you will see the ribosomes are attached on the nuclear membrane. There are on the surface of the nuclear membrane we may find various ribosomes attached. Now if we go inside the nucleus, we will find nucleoplasm. The fluid filled area is called nucleoplasm. This nucleoplasm contains various salts, other substances, and as well as it contains all the enzymes which are required for the replication of DNA. Next is the densest part of the nucleus is the nucleolus. So nucleolus is the densest part of the nucleus, and this nucleolus is mainly meant for the formation of ribosome. Please, this nucleolus is responsible for the formation of ribosome. Clear? Ribosome, we know it is made up of RNA and protein, and nucleolus is one of the region where from these ribosomes are generally formed. Now, next is the nucleoplasm. We have done. Nucleolus is the densest portion, clear, which and this is the densest portion, but it is not enclosed by any membrane, and it is the active site for ribosomal RNA synthesis. Clear? Ribosomal RNA is formed here, and the cells which there are more large and more numerous nuclei which are present in the cells which are actively carrying out the protein synthesis, because protein synthesis, we know, it requires ribosomes. Ribosome is the site of protein synthesis. So the cells which are actively carrying protein synthesis, they have sometimes more than one nucleolus, and so ribosomal RNA is formed in the nucleolus, and these RNA, the RNA which are formed in the nucleus, this mRNA, ribosomal RNA, they finally moves out of the nucleus through this nuclear pore. Now next is the chromatin thread. Clear? These are the chromatin thread which are present in this is made up of DNA, and they are present in the interphase stage. Clear? During the cell division, they condenses to form chromosome. And we know that there are two parts, that is euchromatin and heterochromatin. Euchromatin is comparatively loosely, the chromatin where the chromatin is comparatively loosely packed, and heterochromatin are the densely packed region which is transcriptionally inactive, and euchromatin is the transcriptionally active region. So, and this DNA present in this chromatin actually regulates all the functions of the cell as well as carries the hereditary materials. So it will be already know all this. Next, if we go on for the structure of chromosome, we know that during interphase, these chromatin threads, they coil to form chromosome, clear, and forms a dense rod-like structure which is called chromosome. And if you go on for the structure of chromosome, we will find that chromosome is covered by a proteinaceous shape, clear, with a matrix inside which is called pellicle. Inside this, there is the central region. There is not the necessary central region. There is a constricted region which is called primary constriction, clear, or centromere. And on two sides of the centromere, we find the extensions which are called chromatids, and within this pellicle we find the DNA thread which is called the chromonymata. Clear? DNA thread called chromonymata. This chromonymata, if we go on for a detailed structure of the chromonymata, we will find it is a beaded string-like structure, and these beads are nothing but the nucleosome, which are the histone protein wrapped with DNA. Clear? So they are the nucleosome. So the outer covering is the protein shape called pellicle, clear, with the matrix. There is a constriction region called primary constriction or centromere, and on both sides of the constriction region they extends with the chromatid. This chromatid, if we go on from inside the chromatid, we find DNA threads which are called chromonymata. This chromonymata is present is a beaded string-like structure. Each beads are nothing but the nucleosomes where histone proteins are wrapped by DNA. Now, the centromere is surrounded by another sheath which is called kinetochore, proteinaceous coat called kinetochore, and this kinetochore is the region where the spindle fiber attaches during cell division. Now, if we go on for the DNA structure, you'll find that there are the DNA may be coiled in two types. That is, here you see that is moving parallel to each other. This is called paranemic coiling, and sometimes it works crosswise. Clear? Here the arrangement is crosswise arrangement. You can see here. This is the crosswise arrangement. This is called plectronemic coiling. Paranemic coiling is found in the mitotic chromosome, and plectronemic coiling is found in the meiotic chromosomes. So centromere is the region where the spindle gets attached, clear, during the cell division, and where from these two chromatids are there. Now, apart from centromere, sometimes another constriction appears in certain chromosomes. It is not necessary for all, but in certain chromosomes another constriction appears, which are called secondary constrictions. Clear? And these secondary beyond this secondary constriction, the region of this DNA is called satellite. Clear? And the chromosomes which have this satellite portion or the secondary constriction are called SAT chromosomes. So beyond this chromatid, sometimes there are another constriction which is called secondary constriction. This secondary constriction, apart from the beyond the secondary constriction, there is a small part of the chromatin thread which is called the satellite, and this chromosome which is having this secondary constriction and satellite is called SAT chromosome. The function of this secondary constriction is to mainly form the nucleolus, and that is why it is also called nucleolar organizer region or NOR. So sometimes secondary constrictions are there, and this is called SAT chromosome then, and this secondary constriction is mainly formed is called NOR, nucleolar organizer region, because it helps in formation of the nucleolus. Depending on the position of the centromere, this chromosome can be divided into metacentric, where the centromere is at the center between the two parts of the halves of the chromatid. Clear? The submetacentric, where it's a bit apart from the center, and then is acrocentric, where it's very close to the tip, where the centromere is very close to the tip, and telocentric, where the centromere is at the apical position. So there are various types of chromosomes depending on the position of the centromere, and the thing is that when the cell divides, clear, during anaphase, when the chromosome starts moving towards the pole, the centromere are drawn. At first the chromatid moves and then the centromere. So as a result, there are various shapes are formed due to these chromosomes which are moving towards the pole. They form various shapes depending on the position of the centromere. So if it is a metacentric chromosome, it will have a V-shaped structure, show a V-shaped structure. If it is a submetacentric chromosome, it will form an L-shaped structure. If it is an acrocentric chromosome, it will form a J-shaped structure. And if it is telocentric chromosome, it will form I-shaped structure. So according to the position of the centromere, and during anaphasic chromosome will appear in various shapes. As because the centromere is at first during the polar movement, the centromere moves first towards the pole, and beyond it the chromatid moves. So the chromatid trails afterwards the centromere. So centromere is moving towards the pole and the chromatid trails afterwards, and that causes these various shapes. The chromosomes may be Lamb-Rush chromosome. Here these are the chromosomes which occur in the diploxin stage of the meiosis, and they are mainly found in the primary oocyte of in animal species. They are large-sized diplotin chromosome bivalents which have already undergone crossing over. These are the large-sized diplotin chromosome bivalents which has already undergone crossing over. Another type of chromosome is found in the larva of dipteran insect, which is called polytene chromosome. They have a very high content of DNA, and these cells are unable to undergo mitosis as they are destined to die during metamorphosis. These polytene chromosomes are formed by the somatic pairing of the homologous chromosomes. The homologous chromosomes, they undergo somatic pairing, and these are followed by repeated replication or endomitosis, clear, which and they are in the permanent prophase, and they are called the polytene chromosomes.